Welcome back to They Reminisce Over You, a podcast that takes a nostalgic look back at the best in music, movies, and TV from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I'm Miguel.
And I'm Christina. And today we're going to talk about Warren G. Rapper, producer, DJ, G-Child. The man who inspired me to get a G-Funk era t-shirt made.
Yes, we did. So are you ready to just get into this?
Let's do it.
So in the beginning, Warren G was always somebody that was regulated to the background. Like you see photos of the early Death Row days, he's in the background. Yeah. In the videos for the Chronic, he's in the background. Mm-hmm. In performances, he's just standing off to the side all the time.
There's one performance where he's literally in a doghouse by himself.
Yes,
in the back.
Just dancing in a doghouse.
Yes, well, there were other people in the background, but they were together.
And he was in the doghouse by
literal
himself.
Doghouse by himself.
And that is kind of how his days at Death Row went. He might be the most important person in the history of Death Row, but he gets put in the doghouse during a performance. Because without him, it probably doesn't happen.
There might not have ever been a Snoop.
Yeah, if he doesn't put their demo tape in at Dre's party and they hear it, it probably doesn't happen for them this way. Although they were trying to get a deal with Above the Law and 187, it probably wouldn't have worked out for him the way that it did linking up with Dre and going to Death Row.
And it took a while to get Dr. Dre to even look at it. And it took somebody else being like, hey, Dre, you need to come listen to this. After Warren G had asked him several times already. And he was like, no. Yeah.
So that was how things went for him over there. He was the one that found a lot of the samples that ended up on the Chronic. He brought in Snoop. He brought in Corrupt. But at the end of the day, Nate Dogg, at the end of the day, he didn't really get any credit for it. Like the one story that always stands out is him talking about Death Row jackets being handed out and he didn't get one. And they were supposed to be taking a trip somewhere and they're handing out plane tickets and he didn't get one. It's like, why even have him there? Yeah. Somebody should have known that he wasn't going to get anything.
And he had to like bum a ride home.
Right. So that's the thing that kind of put him in a box at Death Row. Mm-hmm. But it also gave him time and opportunity to work on his own stuff. So he was able to get a placement on the Poetic Justice soundtrack with Mr. Grimm on Indo Smoke, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. And you've been singing the hook all morning.
I have, which is the song I'm pretty sure was what he said he started working on
when he got left.
When he got left behind. Yeah. He's like, I'm going back to Long Beach.
And that kicked off the career of Warren G's solo act. After Indo Smoke, he also got a placement on Doggy Style. They let him actually rap a verse on Snoop's Ain't No Fun. Mm-hmm. So what was your first impression of Warren G after hearing Indo Smoke and Ain't No Fun?
Well, pretty much what you were saying, that since he was just this guy in the background, I don't think I was really like, ooh, that's Warren G.
Yeah.
It was just like on Ain't No Fun. It's just another rapper. You know, there's songs, everybody's got a friend or a cousin or something that has a verse on a song. So he didn't necessarily stand out as in like, who's that?
Right.
Right. It was just part of this song. I liked it, but I wasn't also like, ew, they shouldn't have given that guy a verse. But it was just like, oh, there's a bunch of dudes on this song.
Yeah.
And same with Indo Smoke. Like I knew the song, but it wasn't like, who is Mr. Grimm and Warren G? It was just like, oh, this is, I like this song on this soundtrack.
Right.
So I liked it, but it wasn't like I zeroed in on this guy named Warren G.
Right. Yeah, same. I thought he was dope because it's very small doses of Warren G. Mm-hmm. And that's the best way to get Warren G. Like he gets in, gets out before it gets a little too shaky. You don't need too many Warren G verses and him being left to his own devices too long. Mm-hmm. But if you can put him in the mix with other people, it's perfect. Mm-hmm. So when you heard the first album, Regulate, G-Funk era, what was on it that made you hit repeat?
Well, now this was when I was like, oh, I like Warren G.
Okay.
Because I think with Regulate, obviously he's front and center with Nate Dogg. But Nate Dogg is like the hook singer, so it kind of feels more of like Warren G featuring Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
So that was when I was like, oh, I like this guy. because he was doing the quote unquote, gangster rap, G-Funk, but he was more, a little more laid back, a little softer, even though using the word softer kind of also doesn't really make sense, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Given some of the subject matter, shall we say, but he was a little more, he wasn't as rough around the edges, a little more laid back, a little more funky. And he was just a little more cute, if that makes any sense. Like he was like younger than that. Like even just how he looks, like for a young girl like myself, I was like, oh, he's cute. There was that too. So.
Right.
And then Regulate was just like a monster hit. It's just telling a story.
Yeah. Just a B, C, D, E, F, G story, but it's compelling at the same time.
It is. And a lot happens.
Yes. In 3 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah. So that was like a monster hit that made me realize, like, I want to know more about this guy.
Yeah, I thought it was a dope album too. And I didn't really expect much from it because there wasn't any Death Row input. But the singles with, like I said, Regulate and Indo Smoke and his verse on Ain't No Fun, it kind of gave me an idea of where it might be going. Yeah. But like I said, I wasn't expecting much of it since there was no Snoop, no Dog Pound, no Dre. But I was pleasantly surprised when I actually got the album because it was a lot better than I anticipated it being.
Yeah, I can't remember because Regulate was on the Above the Rim soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I had that. So in theory, I had that before I got the Regulate album.
Yeah. There was a gap in between.
Yeah. So I imagine I probably bought that album after I heard at least a second single.
Okay.
Just because if I'd only heard one song, I may or may not buy that person's album if I already have the song from the Above the Rim soundtrack. But the second single was This DJ, I believe, or do you see?
I think it was This DJ.
Yeah, and I really like that song, so I imagine I probably heard that song and was like, oh yeah, he's got Regulate, he's got This DJ, let me just get the rest.
Yeah.
And I like the whole album.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just bought it blindly off of
Regulate. It's possible because we did that stuff back in the day, so it might have been like, oh, I like the song Regulate, let me just go ahead and buy this guy's whole album.
Exactly.
That's what we did. So it's possible I did that, or it's possible I did after hearing the singles because I also really like singles. So both
yeah, I know I definitely bought it off of the one song,
right?
And his Death Row affiliations, even though there were no Death Row people on the album, I still went out and got it.
Yeah, so when I got the Regulate album, they start off with Regulate because they know what you came here for. So
yes,
you got to start off with that. And then the second song is Do You See, which is kind of similar. So it's another storytelling song. You hear the tales of 213 and Snoop Rock.
Right.
So it's like, if you like Regulate, you'll probably like this song.
Yes.
Right? So it kind of like, and then after that, it was like every song just kind of keeps you listening. So the whole album was such an easy listen. Like I've listened to it like 4 times in the last 2 days prepping for this. So it made me hit repeat then, and it makes me hit repeat now because it's just easy. Especially now that we're older and this album has been around so long, it's almost like it's our easy listening.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
I mean, at the time it was like, ooh, gangster rap, G-Funk. But now it's like, oh, a Sunday afternoon, easy listening.
Yeah.
Drive in the car.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So I just think that's funny because rap used to be a young man's game, and now we're just like all of us old people still listening to this stuff, and now it's old people. Some of it is old people music.
Right.
I need to know what he was mad about, though. So at the end of So Many Ways and going into this DJ, he just said, I'm ready to work on this song. I'm mad.
Hey, you can
but there were so many things he could have been mad about at the time, getting left behind and whatnot.
It could be all of it.
So we've kind of talked about this already, but maybe you can add a little more to it. What do you think it was about Warren G's sound that separated him from the more aggressive West Coast artists of that era?
Well, like you said, it's easy listening. I didn't say easy listening. I said it was a 0-calorie version of what Dre was doing.
Right.
Because Dr. Dre, you can hear in the car and the club. DJ Battle Cat was making the records that you throw up gang signs and Crip Walk to. And DJ Quick was kind of in between. But Warren G, like you said, that's the music you listen to when you're washing the car, barbecuing in the backyard, hanging out at the park with the family. It doesn't get you too high. It doesn't get you too low. The content is still the same.
Yes.
Like there's still some gangster shit being talked.
There is.
But it's a little more mellow. And like I said, it's not meant to be negative. You can take a nap to it. You can just chill. You can hang out, have a good time. Whereas a lot of other people's music gonna get you a little too hyped and too amped and too amplified and want to go out and fight, make you want to do a drive-by or something. But this makes you just want to chill out.
Even though Regulate is about them getting robbed.
It is. It's
and meeting girls though.
They're getting robbed. They're getting revenge, but it's mellow.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this sounds fun.
Right.
So that's the difference that I saw between what he was doing versus other West Coast artists.
Right.
It was a little more mellow.
Yeah, a little more mellow, a little more melodic. And his style is also kind of playful.
Yeah.
Like in What's Next, he starts with like a nursery rhyme, basically. Like, this DJ, he gets down, mixing records while they go around. Like it's a literal nursery rhyme.
Right.
And talking about timesy, wimesy, choo choo. So there's kind of like a playfulness to it.
Right.
And he manages to do it without sounding weird, which is quite a feat to be playful, but also do G-funk, but also make it mellow. So then if you had to describe that first spin to someone who wasn't there, what's one detail you'd mention?
It was surprising.
Okay.
Like I said, it was because I didn't hear any Death Row affiliations on it at all, other than Nate Dogg on Regulate. It was a lot like The Chronic, where there's a bunch of artists that we've never heard of. We didn't know the Twins. We didn't know Josh Skills. We didn't know the Dove Shack. Outside of Warren G and Nate Dogg, we didn't know any of these artists, but it worked in the same way that the unknown artists on The Chronic worked.
Right.
But it was easy listening versus the bang, bang, shoot 'em up on The Chronic and Doggy style. So I would say it's the B side to The Chronic. Okay. So if you want to start off hyped up, go to The Chronic, and then to kind of ease you back into reality, listen to Regulate, G-Funk era.
I said that the album is hard and soft at the same time.
That makes sense.
Because, again, subject matter wasn't really that different, but the presentation was softer.
So is there a song on the album that you used to skip that you've grown into, or is this a no-skip album for you?
For me, it's pretty much a no-skip album. There are, of course, some songs I like more than other songs, but there isn't really anything where I'm just like, ugh. However, I could do without the skits, which, you know, is pretty much what I could say about most of these 90s albums, because everybody loves skits back in the day. And, you know, it might be funny once or twice. You don't want to hear that all the time.
Yeah.
I know which song you hate, though.
Yes. This Is the Shack will always be skipped. It ruins the entire feeling of the album for me. If you take this one song away, it's a no-skip album. This is literally the only song I skip on this album. I can let it run 1 through 12 with no issues. I skip this one every single time. And that goes from the first time I heard it until today. I
would put it in the category of the songs I don't like as much, but I don't have a problem with the Dove Shack the way you do.
I hate this song.
So almost a no skip.
Yeah, it's 95% no skip.
All right.
Like I'll let the skits go.
I mean, I'll let the skits go sometimes. It depends. Sometimes I skip through them. Sometimes I don't.
But yeah, This Is the Shack is never getting played in the car.
So then we know it won't be the Dove Shack, but This Is the Shack. That's the name of that song.
Yeah.
But what are 3 or 4 other key tracks on this album that has a pull on you?
Like I said, with Warren G, he's best in small doses, at least for me. So Recognize has the Twins on it. And that might be my favorite song on this album.
Okay.
And also Do You See in so many ways. Like it's him on all the verses, but somehow it still feels like a toned down Warren G, because I don't want what's NXET Warren G. And that's what happens when there's too much of him. But small dose Warren G.
No, how did he spell it?
NXET, spelling next.
NXET.
NXET.
I mean, it's digital. He could correct it now, but at this point, you should just leave it.
Yeah, you got to leave it. But yeah, those are my picks for album tracks other than the singles. And also, even though it's not on the album, it's from the same era, Indo Smoke too.
Well, I'm guessing you didn't pick Regulate because it's...
Yeah, it's too obvious.
Yeah, I did not either because there's no need to pick that. I also picked DUC as well because I think it's a good companion song for Regulate. Like if you like that and you like that storytelling style, then you'll like this. I also like This DJ because it's melodic, it's catchy. And the third song I picked was And You Don't Stop.
Okay.
Because it somehow, this is that hard, soft thing because it sounds playful despite all the F words. Because there's a lot in the song from what I remember. But it's funky, it's catchy, you got a little ooh, ah. Like it's just fun.
All right. So I think that's a good spot for us to take a break and we'll be right back. Hi, kids. Do you like fun?
Yeah.
We're starting a monthly newsletter called Liner Notes. We'll be sharing what we're watching, what we're listening to, throwback YouTube videos, updates on our upcoming projects, random shit you may have missed on the internet, stuff like that. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to troypodcast.com/newsletter. Do it. Now, it's good for you.
It'll make your teeth whiter.
And back to the show. Okay, and we are back. And now we're going to discuss the deep cuts. So outside of Regulate, what's your favorite Warren G song from his entire discography?
Well, I chose two for different reasons.
Okay.
So one I really like is I Need a Light from his... Why are you laughing?
Because I think this song is great. That's why.
Okay. I really like this one. I was surprised by this because though it was a single, it didn't chart at all. Not even on the R&B hip hop charts. So yeah, I was surprised by that. But at the same time, we always know that fan favorites aren't necessarily chart toppers sometimes.
Exactly.
The second one I wanted to mention, I like it, but it doesn't really sound like Warren G because it's a Dr. Dre produced song.
Okay.
Which is Looking at You with LaToya Williams. So
yeah,
this is much harder than the way Warren usually is.
Yeah.
Because it's a very Dre beat, but it's got LaToya Williams in it, so I like it.
Yeah, I'm actually choosing a Dr. Dre production as well.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
But it's the remix to Game Don't Wait. That is probably what Warren G would have sounded like, or his albums would have sounded like if they had embraced him more into the death row fold.
If he got a plane ticket that fateful day.
If he was treated unlike the redheaded stepchild,
right,
and they embraced him a little more, it probably would have sounded a lot like this. So it's Snoop, Nate Dogg, and Exhibit with the Dre beat on the remix. So this is probably my favorite Warren G song of all time.
Okay. I had a coworker that loved Nobody Does It Better. It's not one of my favorites, but I remember. So this is a bajillion years ago, way back when I used to work at KFC, and I remember coming in one morning, and this is the store's not open yet, just coming in to prep, and he was one of the cooks, so he's back there prepping the chicken, breading chicken, singing Nobody Does It Better, and he would just blast it. So when I hear that song, I think about him.
See, I keep laughing when you bring these songs up because it's Nate Dogg, and you know how much I love Nate Dogg singing anything.
Right. And remember,
because One More Day is great. So anytime Nate can sing about anything, I'm all in on it. Because it's not like he's out here singing like Mariah Carey or Mary J. Blige, even telling great story from beginning to end and make you feel it. No, he just be singing shit.
Yeah, just stuff.
Yeah.
Just my day, my life, whatever. He's singing a story, though.
Yeah, and it works for me.
All right. So what is your favorite album cut then?
I'm going to go back to the Regulate album on this one and go with So Many Ways. Actually, it's a tie. So Many Ways and Recognize, both with the Twins. I like the Twins. I think they should have gotten a lot more than they did. They got the one album and that's it. But yeah, I liked them.
Okay.
They had a little bit of flavor to them.
Well, I'm going back to the Regulate album as well. And I already said how much I like Super Soul Sis in our last episode.
Yes.
And I didn't want to pick that for this one because he's not on the song at all, even though he's also a producer, not just a rapper.
Yes.
But I wanted to pick something with him on it. So I went back to You and You Don't Stop.
Okay.
Because I like it. It's funky. So if you had to make a 5-song deep cut playlist from his entire discography, which ones are you choosing?
Okay, so the first one I'm going to choose, actually, it doesn't even have to be in a particular order, but I'm going to go with one from In the Midnight Hour.
Okay.
And it has some guy named Frank Lee White, who I never found out who he was.
Okay.
And Mike Jones. It's called In Case Some Shit Go Down. So that would be one. One off the 213 album, Keep It Gangsta. That's 2. From the Take a Look Over Your Shoulder album, Reality.
2 to go.
We Brings Heat, also off of that album with the Twins and the 5-footers.
Okay.
And Ghetto Village on Return of the Regulator.
All right.
As you can see, I chose a lot of songs with minimal Warren G on it. So like I said, you got to keep him to a minimum there and just ride with the production and the other people that he surrounds himself with. But you can't have like 17 straight Warren G verses. It gets a little shaky.
You know what? I never thought about that. Yeah, I can't say if I make I've made the distinction of like, nah, there's too much Warren G on this song. I just like him.
Yeah, I need that balance.
All right. So you like him 50-50 rapper producer?
Yes.
Okay. So are there any album cuts that capture his G-Funk vibe more than the singles?
One you've already mentioned, I Need a Light.
Yeah.
So I can smoke away this pain. So that's one of them. And there's one on the I Want It All album with Corrupt on the intro and Crucial Conflict rapping. It's called Dollars Make Sense. That's another one that doesn't really get too much play. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody even mention it, but that's another one of my favorite songs of his.
Okay. For this question, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if I would say any of his album cuts captured the G-Funk vibe more than the singles. They are just album cuts that I like as much as the singles.
That makes sense.
But not necessarily like, ooh, this one is so G-Funk.
Got you.
So when you think about Warren G, I think I might know your answer, but I'm going to ask you anyways.
Even though I just said it?
Yes. Do you think of him as a rapper, producer, or both?
You know what? Even though I just gave you an answer 3 minutes ago, I'm going to take it back.
Okay.
Because
no take backs.
I'm going to go back to rapper rather than producer because of the people that he's worked with outside of his camp. There's very few of them.
Yeah.
Like he did a couple songs for MC Breed, a few songs for Thug Life, a couple Nate Dogg songs, but pretty much all the bulk of his production is for himself,
right?
The Twins and the 5-footers and the Dove Shack. And you know, I really don't dig the Dove Shack at all.
So that makes the list a little shorter.
Yeah. But the 5-footers and the Twins, just for whatever reason, it didn't work the same way that Snoop and the Dog Pound blew up for Dr. Dre. Even though the Twins and the 5-footers could rap their asses off, it just didn't take off the same way that it did over at Death Row. So I'm going to think of him as a rapper, but a producer for himself and not others in the way that Quick or Battle Cat or Dr. Dre were.
Yeah, I think of him as a rapper first because I think that's just how I knew him first.
Yeah.
Where, back when I was, 12, 13, 14, 15, I wasn't like, ooh, who produced this song?
Yeah.
You just see the person who's rapping and you're like, rapper. You don't really think about like, did he also produce the song?
Right.
So I think that's just, how I just saw him first. And kind of like what you were saying, I think also when I think about someone as being a producer, I think about them working for other people or producing for other people. He is a producer, obviously, but it's just like because he wants to make music.
Yeah.
But not necessarily like Teddy Riley, who's like making songs for everybody.
Right.
So he is definitely a producer, or maybe he's just a one-man entertainer where he could do it all, but he chooses to mostly do it for himself.
Yeah, as I'm listening to you say that, I'm thinking back on like the fact that he wasn't allowed to do stuff. And this kind of came up out of necessity.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he wanted to be a rapper. He was Snoop's DJ.
Yes.
So I don't think he actually wanted to be a rapper. And I'm pretty sure he got his deal on Def Jam trying to get, what's his name, a deal, Mr. Grimm.
Yeah, I just got to that part in the interview with Big Boy.
Okay.
And he said when they heard the song, I don't know I can't remember if he said what his initial intention was, but when they heard the song, they're like, we want that guy who does the melodic rapping. And he's like, not the other guy. And they're like, no, this one, that's me. That's me. So I don't know if it was that was his intention or he just didn't expect them to want him.
Yeah, I just assumed they were trying to just get Mr. Grimm signed.
Yeah, because he was just so excited. Yeah, because he was like, if he gets on, then that counts as me getting on too. Because
he's the producer.
Right, yeah. But he was just talking about how he had to like make sure that they meant him.
Right.
He's like, that guy, not the other one.
Yeah.
That's me.
So, yeah, I think he kind of got forced into being a rapper. Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused all over now that I'm running all these scenarios through my head.
Well,
he's everything. How about that?
He's a rapper and producer.
Yes. So going back to Regulate, the G-Funk era, if you compare the first spin that you listened to and how you feel about it now, what's changed the most, if anything?
I think probably the biggest thing that changed is just, as I was saying earlier, now it feels like easy listening.
Yeah.
Whereas at the time, I'm sure it felt a little harder, a little more gangster rap than it does to me now, in terms of just, how music was back then. Like, even if it was the softer gangster rap, it was still, it was in that category. But now it's just like, chilling music.
Yeah.
So that's probably the thing that's changed the most. But other than that, how I feel about it hasn't really changed. I do think that at the time, as you were saying, since he was always like the guy in the background, I almost felt that maybe I was like, am I a little bit weird that I prefer him over Snoop and Dre, who were like the heavy hitters, the stars? Because I listened to them, but I listened to Warren G more. So I was like, do I have bad taste? Or like, do I not understand, rap or whatever? And then it comes to find out he basically, saved Def Jam at the time with this. They hadn't had a hit in a while before Regulate came out. So I was just like, oh, maybe I do have taste.
Yeah, it was a big album. And like you said, it probably saved Def Jam, which kind of goes back to what I mentioned earlier. Like, a lot of things wouldn't happen if it wasn't for him.
Right.
Like, Death Row might not be what it was. Def Jam might not have made it through 1994.
Right.
And all the things that brought them back after that, if it wasn't for Warren G. And I recognize now how foundational it was because, like I said, it saved Def Jam. It was a companion piece to the Chronic. But you don't realize that in real time when you're listening to it. You just think, I like this shit. So that's the difference between listening to it for the first time versus now, is knowing what I know about it now and the role it played not only in West Coast hip hop, but just hip hop in general. It was his version of the Chronic. It was Diet Chronic.
Diet Chronic.
Chronic
but
Zero.
All the flavors still.
Yes. No calories.
Just no calories.
So where does this album sit on your personal all-time favorites list?
I think I've made it pretty clear. It's pretty high on the list.
Yeah.
Like I said, I listened to it 4 times or so, just like now. And it's one of those things like, you know, that you really like a song or an album when you're already trying to replay it before it's over.
Right.
If that makes any sense, where it's like the song is halfway through and I'm like, let me start that again.
Right.
So it's definitely high up on the list. I'm not very good at ranking, so I'm not going to be like, it's number 3. I don't know what number it is, but it's up there.
I actually have a plan to, at some point, release my own personal favorites list.
Yeah.
And I don't give a damn what anybody else thinks because
Right.
It's my list.
Exactly.
I don't have a number for this one either, but it would be pretty high. I'd say at least top 10. Where it falls in the top 10, I can't say right now until I actually put the list together. And that will probably end up being an episode at some point.
I'm comfortable with saying top 10 for me too.
Yeah.
I don't know where either. And I'm sure that changes.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would say pretty comfortable at saying top 10.
Yeah. And he outkicked his coverage on this one because it had no input from the death row camp.
Yes.
And he was still able to pull it off. So I would have it pretty high on my list. And it's a good album too. It's not just nanny, nanny, boo, boo, I can do this without you.
Right.
It's actually a good album.
And he made it like his own style.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, not only no input from the death row camp, like he was on Def Jam, which is mostly known for like East Coast rap.
Yeah.
So that was something different too, especially at that time where like West Coast, East Coast was kind of like a conversation.
Yes.
So for him to be on Def Jam, getting signed to Def Jam was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap this up, if you had to explain Warren G's career to someone who only knows Regulate, what would you say?
Warren G is the cool uncle at the barbecue who breaks up all the fights. The cool uncle who lets you drive his car. The cool uncle that always got the right music to listen to, who gonna slide you $5 when he sees you. That's how I would describe Warren G's career. He's the cool uncle. He's the cool cousin. He's a laid back one that don't let much bother him.
Yeah.
And his music sounds like that.
It's funny that you say he's the cool uncle because obviously now he would be more unk aged.
He was a cool uncle then, though.
Well, I was going to say back then I thought of him as the cute little brother.
Well, I could see that.
Yeah, because back then he was younger.
Yes.
So he went from being the cute little brother to the cool uncle.
I could see that. But he had cool uncle vibes even back then, though.
Because he was laid back.
Listening to the Michael McDonald and all this shit.
So he always had unk vibes.
Yes.
In your opinion.
He did.
Well, he definitely got unk vibes now because he's got this Sniffin' Griffin's barbecue.
Yes, he's selling barbecue sauces and seasonings now.
Yeah, which I would totally buy, but it doesn't look like they ship here. I would like to try some Sniffin' Griffins.
Yeah, he's having conversations on podcasts about cuts of meats and all sorts of barbecuing styles and whatnot. So yeah, he's definitely an unk.
Well, I found a performance of him. You know that YouTube channel for shooters only? They always do these little live performances. So they have one of him, and I think it's maybe only a year old. Like it's fairly recent.
Okay.
So he performed This DJ, Regulate, and Life is Beautiful. And it's interesting to see him perform it now because there is a maturity to the performance, even though he almost sounds like he did back then.
Right.
But he's also older now. So it's, I don't know how to describe it, but it's interesting watching this performance as a mature man.
I will have to check that out.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
And I guess for me, that's all I got to say.
All right. So I guess that's a good spot for us to wrap this up. We thank you again for listening to They Reminisce Over You. We try to do this every 2 weeks-ish. So make sure you come back and check us out on our next episode. If you've missed any episodes, make sure you go back and listen to that old shit because we got almost 100 episodes. This is episode 98. So if you need to catch up, you got some time. Also, if you would like to sign up for our monthly newsletter, you can do that at our website, troypodcast.com/newsletter. It's called Liner Notes. It's what we're listening to, what we're watching, what we're reading, suggestions, all sorts of good stuff for you to check out. If you want to buy some merch, go to our store. That's at teethang.com. TEETHANG.com. We have t-shirts, hats, mugs, cups.
All new website.
It's an all new website.
Relaunched it, couple new designs.
So get
more
yourself some stuff.
Be added.
Yeah, go check that out. Get some stuff. Buy your mama something nice. Mother's Day just passed, so Father's Day is coming up. So get your daddy something nice and say it's from your mom.
Okay.
All right, that's enough because now I'm just rambling. So we'll see y'all in a couple weeks. Bye.
Bye.